What's good, guys? Welcome back to 6 Best Bets and Lock of the Week. One thing I have to mention is we are on a Lock of the Week streak, baby. That's right, we're on a 3-fight Lock of the Week streak, being Ignacio Bahamondes, Kevin Vallejos, and Carlos Ulberg. I know some of those are chalky lockies, but it's still very hard to be consistent with a Lock of the Week. That means that I'm picking one guy that I think will win this card. And I'm trying to beat my Lock of the Week streak, which is 7. The fact that my Lock of the Week streak is 7 shows you that Lock of the Week streak is hard to do. I know a lot of people don't care about the Lock of the Week streak, but one thing that I always say is my most important thing is the Lock of the Week. That's one thing that I care about most about this entire card. I'm trying to help you guys, so let's go. We got 6 best bets, Lock of the Week, 2 bonuses for you guys that I know you guys are going to like, and of course a parlay section. So without further ado, guys, enough yip yap. Let's already get right into the action. 6 best bets and Lock of the Week. Here we go. Without further ado, excuse me. Had some chicken teriyaki. My first most confident pick of the week. Let's go. Christian Rodriguez, 12-2-0. Christian Rodriguez is minus 160. Set to face off against Mexico Costa. Costa's a plus 124. We know Costa just beat Andre Fili. C-Rod is a grappler's kryptonite, in my opinion. And if Austin Batchy wasn't able to find the submission, in my opinion, I don't know if Costa will. We know Costa's game and bread and butter is the submission game, but Andre Fili didn't even try to fight the hands. We know a guy like Christian Rodriguez is going to fight. He's even going to stick the middle finger at a guy in the crowd while he's fighting. This guy, Christian Rodriguez, is a grappler's kryptonite, in my opinion. And we have to mention, though, a red flag is that he has lost to a real featherweight before in Julian Erosa by submission. So, you know, if he's fighting another real featherweight in Costa, if you want to take Costa, you could take Costa by submission. But I am going to go Christian Rodriguez. I like his money line. I think he should be able to win here. But he has a very tough test ahead of him. I got Christian Rodriguez. I like his money line. Obviously, when I look at Christian Rodriguez, I have to see his training camp, how he looks. And we know that this guy's a prospect killer, guys. It's enough for me. I'm tired of fading Christian Rodriguez. It's about time we see how he looks inside the camp. What is his keys to victory? Those leg kicks. He likes to throw a spinning back kick, but I don't really see it. One thing is he always practices him being on his back or somebody being on his back. He's always practicing wrestling, and I think he's prepared for this fight. It's going to be an absolute banger scrap. Give me C-Rod to win this fight. And we see that he's not going back to 135.
So the first day I got here, I was like, man, I don't feel anything. It's like, I'll be fine. And then the next day, I definitely felt it. It was very different for me. And usually I'm someone with a good cardio, so it was kind of interesting to kind of see how it felt. But I've been here for like almost a month now. I've been living in Mexico City for a month now, so I think I'm.
So he's acclimated
now. And yeah, just keeping up with my cardio, my workouts, my training. Just keeping it the same, but just in this kind of environment.
And that's something that I need to hear because we know that this guy already has amazing cardio in the Apex. Now show me your cardio in Mexico City with all that elevation. Let's go. I'm glad that you went there a month earlier. Let's go. Now we're going to go into my next most confident pick of the week, guys. My second most confident pick of the week, guys. Without further ado, let's go. Here we go. Edgar Chairez. Edgar Chairez is set to face off in a tough test ahead of him. He's 11-6-0. Edgar Chairez is minus 295 versus CJ Vergara. He's a runner. He's a track star. Yeah, that's CJ Vergara. He's a runner. He's a track star. Plus 220 for CJ Vergara. CJ Vergara is 2-3 in his last 5, losing to Temirov by TKO, also Mabaya by decision, and Tyra by submission armbar. We know that those guys are very good in the flyweight division, but I will say, guys, I mean, not the flyweight division, guys. Yeah, it is the flyweight division. Sorry. Very close fight considering Edgar just lost to Joshua Van. So, what threw me off, guys, was the Taisu Taira fight. I haven't seen Taisu Taira fight in a while, but I do know that Edgar Chairez should be able to win this fight against CJ Vergara. CJ Vergara has that cardio, and if you stun him, he tends to run away, so that's why I make my little joke. He's a runner, he's a track star. But overall, guys, when we look at Edgar Chairez, I like this little clip of him. Look at that spinning back. He's on the fence and spinning back elbow. Beautiful. I can't show everything because you know how it is. But I also want to show this, guys. When we look at him against the fence, he has the submission ability as well to finish this fight inside the distance. Look at how tight that guy's neck is. That guy's neck is going to come off of his body. That's how tight this guy can wrap you up. Edgar Chairez could finish his fight inside the distance. This guy likes 3 units, Edgar, to finish his fight inside the distance. He probably could. What I'm saying is that Edgar Chairez for the win. Let's just go money line at a minus 295. I think he's set, and he's a good parlay piece to beat CJ Vergara. Now we're going to go into my third most confident pick of the week, guys. Here we go. Without further ado, let's fucking go. Here we go. I know a lot of people say, yo, you got to stop saying LFG so much. Ronaldo Rodriguez. Ronaldo Rodriguez is minus 164 versus Kevin Borjas, plus 128. Ronaldo Rodriguez got dropped by Ode Osborne in the first round, but then he prevailed in the second and third. Kevin Borjas recently lost to Joshua Van and Alessandro Costa. It's going to be a very good fight. Ronaldo Rodriguez is a guy who just loves to scrap. This little skit is a perfect skit to describe him. He's crazy, he's angry, he's fighting, he's in the cage, and then boom. It's a little kid, but I like that because it shows that this guy is willing to scrap no matter what. He's always willing to go into the barn. He's always willing to go into a firefight, and that could leave him to getting cracked. But this guy's recovery is like no other, and I think this guy should be able to win. He's a jokester. He's a superstar. I hope it's not getting all to his head because this guy has over 2 million followers on Instagram. This guy is an absolute superstar. I can't wait for him to win, and let's see if he has a very good speech.
And what do you think you're fighting for on Saturday more than just a win? Do you think you're fighting for a spot in the rankings, a ranked opponent next?
He's fighting Kevin Borjas, which is a very tough test.
Performance on Saturday.
A mí me hubiera encantado poder ser el co-main event.
He would love to be the co-main event.
Me hubiera encantado, pero
I wanted to, but this is what you get, and this is what you make the most.
He already knows that there's a lot of eyes on him, so I think Ronaldo Rodriguez should be able to win this fight. He does have a very tough test ahead of him, but I got to see his cardio as well. I'm banking that he's working on his cardio. His cardio is his main factor. In fact, a lot of recovery has to do with your cardio. We look at guys like Nate Diaz, all these guys, Nick Diaz, all these guys have chins. And why? Because they're able to just recover. They get dropped and they recover because of their stamina being so well. I think his stamina is a big factor on his recovery. So give me Ronaldo Rodriguez at a minus 164 over Kevin Borjas at a plus 128. I like Ronaldo Rodriguez for the win. Let's go. Now, my fourth most confident pick of the week, guys. The lock of the week is going to be the sixth most confident pick of the week. So, my fourth most confident pick of the week, without further ado, let's go. Here we go. David Martinez. The reason why this guy's not my lock of the week is because his split decision loss. He's 11-1-0. We know David Martinez is minus 400 versus Simon Oliveira, who's a plus 285. David making his debut is what worries me. And he had a close split decision loss. And when we look at that split decision loss, it was really, really close. He lost to Gianni Velasquez. And we know that was pretty long ago. It was in 2021. But when we look at that loss, he's throwing spinning back kicks to the body. He's getting a little flashy. And he's not urgent. He's not urgent to finish that fight or win against the judges. We know that the judges could have, it could have been a toss-up in that fight. But it was a very close fight, and I don't like it when he makes fights a little bit more closer than they need to be. David, by KO or on points, is minus 340. I like it because he doesn't have any submissions on his record. But I will say, Oliveira's a very good submission specialist. We have to watch out for Martinez's neck. That's a massive factor, and we know Oliveira just got finished by Daniel Marcos. When I look at Daniel Marcos is undefeated, and he's very, very good. So this is a massive step up in competition for David Martinez, but I think he should be able to win this fight. When I look at this, we have to look at his gameplay, guys. He obviously has a podcast himself already. We know that his sister's also in the UFC. This guy also has a doctorate degree. He's looking to make it into the UFC. And after, he has another career in becoming a doctor. I think David Martinez should be able to win this fight, but we can't take that into the massive amount of consideration. We have to admit that, guys, if you have a backup plan, that means you're not 100% into this, but I think David Martinez should be able to win this fight. Let's go, David Martinez. One thing I want to mention is this guy said it so well. David Martinez gets the unanimous decision victory. He was lightning speed and a deep bag of kicks on Dana White Contender Series. I haven't seen a bantamweight with faster speed. Shout out to Franklin. He'll be back one day. If Martinez gets the contract, he'll be a part of he'll be part of the first brother and sister duo in the UFC. So, I want him to have a successful UFC debut. We know that his sister's in the UFC. Let's get both of them to have a successful UFC debut. Let's get David Martinez to get in the UFC, get a W, so that both of them can be in the UFC on some Ws. So, obviously, this guy says not true. Mizuki and Nikoi were actually the first brother and sister duo, but if it's not true, then we'll get the second brother and sister duo in the UFC. So, let's go David Martinez for the win. I'm glad he's into the UFC. He's going to give a performance no matter what. But give me David Martinez to win this fight. Obviously, it's a very tough test ahead of him. And when we look at this, guys, he does like a lot of flashy kicks because when we look at this guy loves flashy shit. So that's the only reason why he's not my lock of the week because, he's on his back foot a little bit too much. But I think he should be able to win this fight. In fact, some people have 1.5 units on Martinez by KO to plus 150. I will say I like Martinez by decision. A lot of people are saying that there's some better odds. But I will say, guys, I like David Martinez to win this fight over his opponent, Simon Oliveira. It's going to be a very close fight. Give me David Martinez money line at a minus 400. Let's go. Now we're going to go to my fifth most confident pick of the week, guys. Here we go. Without further ado, let's go. Raul Rosas Jr. 10-1-0. We know Raul Rosas Jr. has a massive tough test ahead of him in his fight against Vince Morales, who's a plus 330. And one thing that we have to mention, guys, is that when we look, Vince just fought Elijah Smith in a close fight back in February. He almost had his neck in a nice anaconda or a nice Darce choke, whatever you want to call it. Rosas has a decision win over Arichi Lang. I think this fight's going to be a very close fight, very tough fight, and I think we might get a little bit of nail biters where, Vince Morales maybe has him in a nice little headlock, trying to wrap that neck, and then Raul Rosas Jr. escapes it, and he wins by decision. I got Raul Rosas Jr. money line. Obviously, we know we will have the youngest and oldest fighter on the UFC roster fighting at UFC Mexico this Saturday. That's pretty cool, bro. I love facts like this. I think that's actually pretty cool. If both of them can win, they can win. That'll be fucking awesome. And then we look at this, guys. If you guys remember this little prank?
I find it kind of disrespectful that you're using my treadmill. Why are you being disrespectful, homie? I'm not being disrespectful. I'm telling you this is my treadmill, homie.
But yeah, you guys know Raul Rosas Jr. was in that little situation. It was pretty funny. I figured it's Raul Rosas Jr. fight week. Let's bring it. Now we're going to go into my lock of the week, guys. My 6th most confident pick of the week, guys. It's lock of the week time. Lock of the week streak. Does it continue? Ignacio Bahamondes, Kevin Vallejos, Carlos Ulberg, all on the line for my lock of the week to continue. Here we go without further ado. Let's go. Lock of the week. Joe Pyfer, 13-3-0. Salty Joe Pyfer. If you guys remember, this guy lost to Jack Hermanson. Everybody was like, fraud check, fraud check, fraud check. And this guy got so salty. I will say, guys, Joe Pyfer, you needed that loss because to be in a position like this, we know he's fighting Kelvin Gastelum, who's 19-9-0. Kelvin Gastelum has never been knocked out in his career. He's never even been TKO'd. I will say, though, Joe Pyfer doesn't always have that knockout as well. He has that submission ability as well. We saw in Abdul Razak Al Hassan. He got a nice little arm triangle choke. Bro, with this fight right here, Joe Pyfer's a minus 330, Kelvin Gastelum plus 240. Joe Pyfer has a teammate who beat Gastelum at 170, who performed last week, Sean Brady. Gastelum is 2-3 in his last 5, beating Daniel Rodriguez in a close fight and Chris Curtis. Prior to that, he lost to Jared Cannonier and Rob Whitaker in a 5-round main event, and he beat Ian Heinisch before that. So, I think the momentum is on Joe Pyfer's side, but we have to mention, guys, Kelvin Gastelum's from Mexico City. If this gets a little sloppy, if this gets a little, edgy, they might give him the decision. I will say I think Joe Pyfer should be able to win this fight, and he should be able to be in this fight. Obviously, the cardio aspect should be a massive factor as well, but I think Joe Pyfer should be able to win this fight. Lock of the week streak to continue. Let's go. When I look at this is probably after the first round. This guy says this will be Joe Pyfer's corner after round 1 with his fight with Kelvin Gastelum.
Listen to me. You're getting in a slugfest. You're not going to knock him out. He's a big old Mexican with a big old head.
That could be a massive possibility, but I still expect Joe Pyfer to win this fight by decision, even if it gets sloppy. If it gets a little ugly, maybe he can get a submission as well, but I will say I got Joe Pyfer to win this fight. Now we're going to go into my first bonus, guys. Here we go. Without further ado, we're going to go into my first bonus. Let's go. Manuel Torres versus Drew Dober. I'm going to be taking the under 1.5 at a minus 192. We know the over 1.5 is a plus 150. Manuel Torres minus 118. Drew Dober minus 108. I like the under 1.5 here at a minus 192. Over 1.5 plus 150. But I really like, obviously we know if this fight to not go the distance, minus 800 is juice to the absolute grills. What I really like is that this fight ends by KO at a minus 230. So technically I'm giving you guys an option. If you guys want to play the under 1.5 at a minus 192, or that this fight ends by KO at a minus 230. In my opinion, I really like that this fight ends by KO at a minus 230, but we have to mention Manuel Torres has submissions as well. A lot of people are mentioning that Manuel Torres can be a little bit chinny, so I figured, guys, let's just do fight ends by KO at a minus 230 as the bonus. If you guys don't like it, you guys could choose the over or under 1.5. If you don't want to play with fire, you could just skip this bonus, but I will say I like fight ends by KO. I think it's really likely, and it's a nice little parlay piece to, maybe to end your parlay. I like it. Now we're going to go into my second bonus. Here we go. Without further ado, let's go. Thank you guys for being here. If you guys can't, hit that like. Second bonus, we know Brandon Moreno's a minus 250, Steve Erceg plus 190. Will this fight go the distance? Yes, at a minus 215. No, at a plus 166. The bonus is going to be the over 4.5 at a minus 250 or the under 4.5 at a plus 188. So, you guys know with the over or under, with the bonus, I let you pick whether you want the over or under. I am going to be taking the over 4.5 at a minus 250. If you want to get risky, if you think that this fight goes the entire 25 minutes, you could take yes at a minus 215. But I don't want to play with fire, guys. We saw Sean Brady get the submission over Leon Edwards. Maybe this could be a late TKO 5th round. I'm going to go over 4.5 rounds at a minus 250. I think it's very good. Let's go for the win. Let's go over 4.5. Now we're going to get into the parlay section, guys. So, parlay time. I like Martinez by KO on points, Joe Pyfer money line, Raul Rosas Jr. money line, and the over 4.5 in the main event. 4-leg parlay plus 185. I think it's pretty good. Obviously, we have a lot to risk with the more legs you add on the parlay, but I think it's pretty good. My next parlay, C-Rod moneyline, Manuel Torres, Ronaldo Rodriguez, Edgar Chairez, and Brandon Moreno. 5-leg for plus 832. I think it's the most likely to hit. Plus 832 is pretty good odds for a 5-leg parlay. I think it's pretty juicy. Next parlay, Markel Medeiros, Jamal Amers, Rafa Garcia, Lupita Palashi fight goes the distance. C-Rod versus Costa fight to go the distance as well. So I have 2 fights to go the distance. Costa and Rodriguez and Palashi, these 2 fights back-to-back to both go the distance. I have Markel Medeiros, Jamal Amers, and Rafa Garcia. 5-leg parlay plus 339. Obviously, we know that we're not getting that much value on it, but we do know that maybe the over 2.5 can hit for both of these fights. Now we're going to go into my next parlay. Marco Medeiros, Rafa Garcia, David Martinez, Raul Rosas Jr., and Torres versus Dober fight ends by KO. 5-leg for plus 301. Marco Medeiros, Rafa Garcia, David Martinez, Raul Rosas Jr., and then Torres and Dober ends by KO. Obviously, I'm just taking all money line for a 5-leg for plus 301. But if you want to get fancy, you could take double chance on some of those guys. I like the 5-leg on money line for plus 301. I like it. My next parlay, Atabek Gutierrez by KO on points, Raul Rosas Jr. by Subway points, and Brandon Moreno. 3-leg. Little bit of a sketchy one, but plus 134. I like it. My next parlay, over 2.5 Ronaldo Rodriguez versus Kevin Borjas fight, over 2.5 CJ Vergara versus Edgar Chairez fight, and Julia Palacio versus Lupita Godinez to go the distance. 3-leg parlay for overs. So I have Julia Palacio, Lupita to go the distance, over 2.5 CJ Vergara Edgar Chairez fight, and over 2.5 Ronaldo Rodriguez Kevin Borjas fight for plus 219. 3-leg. I call it the over 2.5 parlay. Let's go. Now, my last one is going to be the over 4.5 money line at a minus 250. I really like the over 4.5. Brandon Moreno being 0-3 in Mexico City makes me think that this fight might go the distance. Whether it goes the distance, we just need that over 4.5 to cash, baby. Let's go. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let's go. Without further ado, guys, just give me a like, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. The best is blessed, baby, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Let's get it, baby. Let's go. Lock of the week streak continues. Let's fucking go. 4-fight lock of the week streak. Let's go. See you guys in the next one. Peace. Hey.